Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am your favorite nail tech, polished by Patrice. For those of you who are listening on a podcast platform, Tech Talk is being recorded for your viewing pleasure. In addition to following me on Instagram, of course, it's at Polished by Patrice. Let me put that up there for those who are watching. That you can catch me, follow me at Polished by Patrice. But you can also now subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tech Talk with Polished by Patrice. Now remember, there is an X in between Polished and Patrice. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, turn on all of the notifications because that's how you keep up. All right. Today is Saturday, September 18th. As you all know, I'm doing stuff out of my norm. It usually used to be on Mondays. It used to be at 10 and it used to be live. And I just don't want to do it like that no more. And it's my show. I can do what I want. So I am up early this morning. It's 10:30 in the morning. And that just has to be how much I like doing what I'm doing because I'm up early and cute to talk to you all. Today's topic is about mobile nail techs. Okay. Now, when you think of a mobile nail tech, you think, of course, someone who does nails mobily. They come to your house and that's cool, and do your nails. Now, that's great for the client. But as for the nail tech, that's a whole different story, and we're gonna get into that. At one point, you'd only think celebrities would be able to get a nail tech to come to their house. Well, now even the everyday woman can get a mobile nail tech to come to their house and do their nails. Um, Looking back in the past, like I've actually seen that in the UK they have like a tip service that would send independent techs out with different jobs. Like whether it was going to for a mobile service or being put into a salon for a few days, even as far as being a part of Fashion Week. So I thought that was something dope in the UK that was going on. When I did offer mobile services, a plus for me was just the luxury to move from beyond my desk. So to get from behind out of the office and drive through the city, see the scenes before going to another client to do the same thing I do every day, all day anyway. I enjoyed the break. I enjoyed the scenic route. So that was something that I enjoyed. I did not enjoy having to pack up my entire station and take it with me. And of course, I try to make shit easier on myself. And I wrote down a list to, make sure I would go through the steps in my head, and then I would write out my list. And so I always forget something. Long story short, I always forget something. One time, y'all, I left the damn drill bits. So luckily, I know how to do nails without a drill because other than that, I would have had to go way the fuck back across town to, get my drill bit. So please stay up on that on learning how to do hand filing because sometimes you may be in a situation that you cannot. All right. When it came down to doing mobile, I was not a primary mobile nail tech. So I had to have boundaries. In the beginning, I really didn't, care. It was whatever to try and get, not let any money pass you by. But people will wear you out. They will take advantage. And it was just the calls that I would get, the requests that I would get. Like one woman, she didn't have a babysitter. And okay, life's a bitch. But I'm not about to bring my products over here for your kids to be, ooh, what's this? And ooh, what's that? And touching and moving and interrupting what is supposed to be your pampering session and steal my job. So that was enough for me. I've had one who she didn't have the kids, she didn't have a ride, and she wanted me to come at 9 o'clock at night. Girl, you ain't gonna rob me. So, some things you just cannot do and deal with. You definitely had to put down some boundaries, and some people would just try it to see if they can try it. A girl asked me for a nail repair. Like I really thought I was gonna pack up my whole station to go do a nail repair. But I'm not a primary nail technician. So I don't know how that, really works. I'm in between my station and doing mobile services. So no, hell no, I wasn't gonna move for no nail repair, But that's because that was not my thing. And once COVID came along, I definitely stopped. At that point, I was only servicing elders. You had to have like a disability, and I did not want to put those who were high risk at more risk. So I left it alone when COVID came along. But what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. That does not mean that you cannot still make a lucrative business out of being a mobile nail technician. So if you are interested in this, keep on listening, keep on watching, because today I have a mobile nail tech with me, going to be joining me today, and going to tell me on the other side. We're going to get into all of it: how to get started, the pros and cons, what surprises, policies. Like, we're going to go through the whole shebang and try and help those out who are interested in going in that route. Now, one thing I can say from experience is put some respect on it. I do not think being a mobile nail technician is easy. I don't think that it is a cop out. I don't think it's, oh, you just ain't good to be in the shop. No, that takes dedication into this craft to be packing that shit up. Okay. So without further, let me go ahead and get into it. My nail sis joining me today is Stephanie Lynn of Bar Nail Salon. Now, Stephanie's in Northern California, and she's going to be able to tell you exactly where, right? So, how me and Stephanie met was actually in a nail group on Facebook. It is so, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to get y'all to want to get on camera and talk to me about anything nail related. And so I threw out debate, and Stephanie was like, "Hey girl, let's talk." And I was so excited. I'm so grateful. So let me bring Miss Stephanie on in. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Steph, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Look, our
Freezing up a little
internet
bit.
already active.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Awesome.
No, that's the same thing I said. The internet already. Look, then my alarm going off. Like, it's a good feeling when I'm up before my alarm goes off.
That's true. That's a good
It's a
feeling.
yes, it's definitely a good feeling to be up before your alarm goes out. Oh, so Stephanie, exactly where in Northern California are you?
I'm in an area called the Central Valley. Sacramento
Mm-hmm.
is a pretty big city that people know of. That's about an hour from me. But my specific city that I work out of and live in is called Ripon, California. Where Blue Diamond almonds. All the almond orchards are right around me. So all the almonds grow here and are harvested here and are produced for Blue Diamond almonds right in this little town here. So it's a lot of agriculture and farming that goes on here. This little small town.
Oh, okay. Like, were you born and raised there, or did you move there? I'm curious.
No, I've been all over the place, but my family. I was born in California in San Jose, which a lot of people know where San Jose is. That's kind of near where like Google and all those, the tech Silicon Valley, basically. But my family moved to Washington State when I was young, and then I moved back here in my early 20s. And that's kind of how I got into nails, was moving here and kind of being on my own and sort of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And California is my home, so I really love being here, and I just really wanted to establish myself here. But yeah, I ended up in this town because my husband lived in the East Bay, which is east of San Francisco, and then we wanted to buy a house, and out here was a little more affordable, so we moved out to the Central Valley. So that's how we ended up here. So no, we're just new to town and acting like we've been here forever, but no, we just got here.
That's cool, but that's the good thing about our trade is that we can, take it and go somewhere and still find it, saying work and be all right. I'm excited. I ain't never had that adventure. I come on, honey, let's move. I'm waiting on my daughter to graduate before I
Yep.
go on that adventure because I
Yeah.
ain't taking her with me. I'll just send her money. That's all we gonna care about. So, all right, you are a mobile nail tech. How long have you been a mobile nail tech?
Well, this most
How long have you been a
recent.
nail tech?
Oh, and okay. So starting back in early 2000s, when I had originally transported here from Washington State, I was here for about a year and a half or so, and I kind of got interested in possibly attending full cosmetology school. But I was wanting to just
Mhm.
kind of dip my toe in the water, so I thought, let me get this nail license done and see where I can go with that. and then go from there. So I did. I went to beauty school in 2004 and got my nail license, and then started working almost exclusively at spas, at higher end spas. Part of that because I was a little intimidated to walk into a nail shop, and I had no experience whatsoever with acrylics, and I didn't really feel like I had that kind of mentor to walk me through it. And this was back in the days before, I mean, YouTube might have been around. I don't know when YouTube was born, but it was definitely before that was common knowledge to like go online and learn from YouTube.
Yeah, everybody's on YouTube, and I'm just like I told you when I was like, I never thought to go look on YouTube. Even now, I have to like everybody says go look on YouTube. I'm like,
yeah, you can learn anything.
You can learn anything on YouTube these days. And it's like, where the hell is this? But it indeed. So, what made you decide to be a mobile nail technician?
So back in those days when I was first starting out and I was working in spas, I ended up landing at a spa that is out of the Fairmont Hotel in San Jose. It's called Tova Day Spa. I believe it's still there and still in operation. But we opened that spa. I opened it with Tova right in 2008. So the market had crashed. Travel for people was down. So being in a hotel in the heart of a city was not the business at the time, because the hotel was at low capacity, whereas normally they're at full 100% capacity and they have all their conference rooms full, and people take their lunch break and come into the spa and get a massage or get, quickly, I need my nails done. That was not happening. That was not happening at that time. So business was pretty slow, and my friends couldn't afford to come in. So I lived in downtown at the time. I was renting a place right by the university in downtown San Jose. And I would set up out of my living room, and that sort of just snowballed a little bit. And I ended up getting myself a little mobile cart, and I had a whole set of equipment that I used there at that mobile cart for pedicures. And I would just sit in my living room. My friends, I would send a message, hey, anybody who wants nail services, and I charged like nothing. I think I was charging $20 for a pedicure. It was terrible. But I was just trying to make ends meet.
What year was that though? Let me ask you that. What year was that?
That was 2008, 2009, 2010. It wasn't that long ago for me to be charging that little. But I thought at the time, I thought I needed to compete. It was wild.
Have definitely gone up.
Well, sure,
but I want to say, because I got like at that in that time. That's all right. You did good.
Okay, it wasn't terrible, but it was, I mean, for being somebody who worked out of for being somebody who worked out of a spa where my pedicure was $75, I could have probably done a little bit better. Okay. But whatever. My friends weren't exactly wealthy either, so it was perfect. I got what I needed, and they got a service out of it. So it was fine. It it helped me quite a bit.
Pedicures for $20, so
yeah. Not anymore though. Those days are behind us.
Oh man.
Thankful.
But go continue, my bad.
Oh no, it's okay. So that was really how I kind of started with the mobile concept, and it slowly was starting to kind of get out there. This is again before the days where you were blasting information on social media and people could search you by a hashtag. So it was like I had met a chiropractor when I was getting a chiropractic service, and I mentioned to her what I did. Her two of her receptionists separately started booking me kind of regularly to come to their house for like an event, and I would do a mini session for. They'd have like 15 women there, and they'd be drinking and doing their thing and kind of partying, and I'd be just setting people up on 30-minute increments and boom, boom, boom. I think I was charging like $25 for the combo, and it was a quick mani, quick pedi, nothing fancy, just get the business done. And then, so it slowly started to get somewhere, but I was pretty discouraged with the industry at that time. I was struggling so hard financially. I lived in a very expensive city and just couldn't quite make it. So I took my life a different direction for a while, and I recently came back to nails as a stay-at-home mom. It was something where I was kind of looking at people like, wait, they got a side hustle over there. I want one. They got one going there. I want one. And then I was like, what do I know how to do? Oh yeah. I dusted off. I mean, it had been that long. My stuff was still in a box on the shelf, and I took it down and was like, let me get going on this again. And that's really how I picked it up this time, which was 2018, I think, 2018. just in the last few years.
So you came back. So when you stopped doing nails in what 2000,
10,
you got
yeah,
discouraged. You stopped doing nails. What year was
yeah,
that?
2010. It was
Okay, and then you come back in 2018.
yeah. I put it down for quite a while. I
I
mean,
think I, I'm
sorry,
skipping on you. I figured that we're messing with each other.
there's a
I figured
delay, and then I'm like, "Ooh, let me jump in." I'll give you a minute. Why don't you redirect where we're going so you can take us from there?
Okay. I definitely want to say that I do know that we have a delay and it's all good. All good. We're not gonna let that mess with anything. Um, with coming back in 2018, what would you say was an obstacle? Like how, well, not even an obstacle. Let me hold that one. How did you get started back in 2018?
My original jump in was, and I do this a little bit, I get like, I'm going to do this. And it had been a challenge before. I'm ready now. I've got the maturity, the discipline. I can do this now. Acrylics have been my nemesis. To this day, I'm not an acrylics person. I'm a hard gel person now. But at that time, I was like, I'm buckle your seatbelts. I'm going to get this down. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do it well. And so I was determined, and I started busting out a little, I think I got like a little, what was this? Oh no, that's what it was. The inspiration was dip nails. People were talking about dip, 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 dip. And I was like, okay, let me get into this. And I went into the drugstore and I was kind of like, let me spend that $15 and get the little Kiss kit of dip. And my sister was like, oh, it's great. You're going to love it. I started doing it. And then I found a little beauty salon in our town. At the time, it was Stockton, California. And the lady was like, all the dip powder's over there. And I was like, but that's acrylic. And she goes, no, that's dip. And she goes, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. And I was like, oh, I get it. There's not particularly something special about dip. It's acrylic, but that you can do on very short nails because you're dipping, because you're not actually forming and sculpting. You're just dipping, So I kind of was like,
Yeah, with the dip, when the dip came out, it was the most aggravatingest thing to me.
yeah.
Because then they were trying to tell, clients who went to whatever university they went to want to tell me it's different, it's better. I'm like, it's the same thing.
It's the
You're
same
just
thing.
a different process. It's just a different process, baby. Instead of acrylic
I've tried to
liquid,
kind of like, I've had several clients, and most of my clients, when they first find me out there today, like my clients that I'm building now, most of them will say to me, oh, do you do dip? I do dip nails. And I always rotate that. I'm like, I don't do dip. What I do is healthier and better for the nails. What dip powder is acrylic for short nails. You cannot sculpt acrylic unless you're real good, by the way. Yes, I know it's possible, but sculpting acrylic on a very short or natural length nail bed is incredibly difficult to get all the crests going the right way. So typically technicians want a little bit more length to work with, which is why they kind of push clients to go longer. I've been that client before. I'm not speaking to all technicians. I know we have some awesome technicians, but I'll tell you the common process is to go into a nail shop and say, I want really short acrylics. And they say, okay, this is short enough. And then they kind of push you to go longer than you ever want it to go. And part of that is because they can't really sculpt on such a short nail bed. So they want you to do a little bit longer. Now, dip has answered that problem for a lot of people who want that natural length. So it has answered that, but I have a better answer, in my opinion, which has been Builder in a Bottle, which is a gel product, and not everybody's into gel, but Builder in the Bottle is also the same. You can apply it on a natural nail, sculpt it into the right shape, and keep people real short if they want to be. So I'm in love with Builder in the Bottle for that reason. And this is how I direct my clientele and kind of say, hey, that's a good product. There's nothing wrong with that. I know the positives. I can still give you those positives, but I can give you a little bit more. And people have so far been very interested in that.
Okay. So you just the recap on that. You don't do any acrylic services. You do hard gel only.
Hard gel only. No, I'm sorry. Builder in the bottle, hard gel, gel polish, or natural polish. Very rarely does anybody have any interest in natural polish anymore, but I do have a few clients who are kind of stuck on it, and that's fine. But the inspiration behind switching from totally no acrylic product to gel products was because I'm mobile. It had a big part to do with it because I was working and practicing out of my home, and my husband could not stand the smell of it. He said it would permeate our house for days. And I just practice on myself once every couple of weeks. So he was like, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And so I was like, well, how am I going to bring this into somebody's home and expose their home to days worth of fumes, have their husband complaining? I'll be losing clients real quick because the wives are going to be like, well, my husband's whining about the smell. I'm just going to go to the shop. So I knew that was going to be a problem. I was like, well, let me figure out something else. And I kind of stumbled on Builder in the bottle, and that's why I went that direction, because I thought, well, this is a great product anyway.
When I tell you that is a dope and awesome idea, because that is like the number one issue is the freaking smell.
Yes.
And that was something that I was, and I wasn't oblivious to that when people first started asking about, saying come into your home and doing nails. I'm like, you want this smell in your house? And then when not thinking about it, the complaint is the smell. So to switch to Builder Gel, you're still able to do extension services.
Yes.
Of course, charge a little bit fucking, if not a lot more.
Yeah.
But they don't have the smell. And that is, like you said, is the high point. The outcome to you is the cherry top. Girl.
Yeah.
So hell, the next question was gonna say, what was the most challenging obstacle? Shoot, you done leaped your bounds with just your thought process on what I'm offering.
That was definitely a big one.
What would you say was the most challenging obstacle on that? Was hard getting your licensing, like building clientele? What was it?
I think the biggest challenge, first and foremost was for me personally. I know there are people who are amazing at details. They're amazing at looking at an instructional video, applying all of the steps, not missing a step, and doing it perfectly. I have a tendency to want to skip to the finish line. Let me skip that step that doesn't seem important. Let me move on. And what was happening as a result of that was that, of course, it wasn't working right. Because we know as nail techs, if you miss buffing the nail plate, if you miss a little bit of cuticle, if you miss a little dust, you're in trouble with your application and with retention. So that was a problem, is that I took it so personally when somebody would have an issue with the nails that I had created or sculpted or whatever I had done, is that I would just fret. I would be awake at night like, oh my God, they paid me so much money. Because now I've learned I'm not going to put myself out there for cheap. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this on a level that makes it worth my while. This is time away from my kids. This is my husband watching my small toddlers alone in the evening after working a full day. This is important, that this is worth our while. So I raised my prices up a little bit, and I kind of went out there with that mindset. Well, now somebody's paid me X amount of dollars for a service, and they're messaging me saying, hey, this is chipping and falling off. And I'm laying in bed just like, oh my God, I'm so upset, So that was probably the biggest challenge, was pushing myself to say, don't skip anything, be very detail oriented. That's my personal challenge. Now the rest of the challenges, I mean, they're pretty small hurdles. I think everything else, the other biggest challenge, which we don't have to get into, was product choice. There was one brand, wonderful, beautiful brand, excellent, but a lot of things in that brand and in that product that make it a little bit more difficult to apply to a client and say, here you go, I'll see you in 4 weeks with no issues. A little bit more of a challenge there. Another product that I found, seamless. Beautiful product, works beautifully, no issues. Everything marries together. You can put Builder Gel, you can put polish on top, you can add artwork, you can add whatever. That stuff just all works together beautifully. And so I ended up having to shift from one product to the other for that reason, because it was very important to me to give my clients that confidence and say, I won't see you for 4 weeks. And they'd be like, we'll see. Nothing sticks on me. And I'd be like, we'll see. And they would text me in 2.5, 3 weeks and be like, we can't believe this stuff is staying on our nails. And I'd be so proud. Oh, I'm so proud of those moments. I still am very excited about those moments.
It's always the plus when they text you like, girl, they are still on, as opposed
Yeah.
to my nails is clipping, my nails is lifting, and it's just like, damn it, what did I
Yeah.
do? And then
Yeah.
sometimes after a while, it's like, girl, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah. There are
Some
those special
days.
times. Yeah.
Was it hard to be a mobile nail technician? I know it's a question a lot of people want to know. Do you have to have a licensing? Like, do you have an LLC, or is it just you're a licensed nail technician that does work mobily?
I think that there's different ways that you can do it. The probably the most by the book and technical way is licensing, but also working under a salon license. And I think that's because the state of California is pretty strict and rigid. I'm sure you all had this issue or all heard about this problem, but it was a pretty big problem here in this state where people were getting infected by pedicure tubs. This was many years ago. and salons were getting sued. The pedicure chair people were getting sued. People were walking away with scarred bodies for the rest of their life. Absolutely atrocity. So the
Look,
California.
I'm sorry, just to interrupt for just a half a second, even with us having our delays, I
Yeah.
think they had an expose across the world about the
Yeah.
pedicure chairs, because we had
Yeah.
one here as well. And when I tell you they put it on blast, one of my clients is one of the people that were affected,
Oh,
but
it's terrible.
her touch just ain't been the same since. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
but continue.
Yeah.
In state of Washington.
So in the state of California, I think it was a little bit well, at least the way that California regulated it, and I have obviously no experience elsewhere, but just speaking from California, the state is very restrictive on people doing things like what I'm doing. Now, technically, they wouldn't be cool with what I'm doing. I have a license, I have insurance that covers myself, but I'm not under another salon. And I think the issue with the salon is that that would be a bigger entity to sue if somebody was problematic, if there was a problem. Also, the standards that they hold that salon to, my business would be an extension of those standards. So they would go back and find a salon and be like, your girl was out here giving services and there was no water access, there was no whatever. They're going to have a problem with that because there's real restrictive environments for which nails can be performed in. Like, you must have ventilation, you must have a sink with water, you must have a toilet, those kind of restrictions. Now, being mobile, of course, all that stuff's accessible because I'm going into somebody's home. They have a sink, they have a toilet, they have all that stuff. But the California state cannot come and inspect each home, so they're kind of entrusting me, which means I should be under a salon. I'm not, but technically, that's really the legality behind it, as I should be under a salon. But I am licensed, and I'm so thankful I'm licensed because I think it would give me a little bit of anxiety and fear to not be. That's the only thing it would give me. It's not that I learned so much from my license or from that education. Yes, it's valuable and it's wonderful, but I think it would give me a sense of insecurity going out and doing this stuff. I would kind of feel like maybe someone's looking over my shoulder and I'm going to get caught. I feel a lot less worried about that because it's a technicality. I could be like, all right, I'm not under a salon. I'm I'm a freelance. What are you going to say to me? How are you going to say I can't do what I can do, but a hairstylist can go anywhere and do what they can do? They got scissors. Like, that's kind of how I would argue that. But in all of my career, all these years, nobody has ever once asked to see a license or anything. Like, that's never happened. So I don't know. I'm just living on the
Yeah,
edge.
as you put that out there, yeah, like, I know sitting in the salon, you are sitting duck for a state board to walk up on you at any given time if you are not in, and I have a bad habit of I'm on my last client's heels out the freaking door. I clean up in the morning,
Yeah.
and yeah, no. One day I ended up cleaning up before I left, and thank God my God and ancestors were with me because state board came in the next morning, and I wasn't even here. And I was
Wow.
like, I would have been like, hell, my auntie was nervous to open up the door. You sure you got a little thing here? I was like,
you got lucky.
I ready to fucking go. And seeing the shop in the shop, like, you couldn't leave until you cleaned up. So,
Yeah.
damn boss, I cleaned up in the morning. I'm gone. Ain't nobody finna come here overnight. But like shit, you got to beat state board. So up at night, but being mobile, yeah, it's not like they're gonna walk up into your home and everything, like to someone's home or whatnot. I think when it comes down to it, if there was an issue of legality, that's between you and the client.
Yeah.
I don't understand why even having to put the salon involved in a business. I'm an independent contractor. If
Yeah.
that client has an issue, she should take it up with me because I don't know down
Yeah.
here, even with me being in a salon, I'm still an independent contractor. So
Mm-hmm.
if I hurt a client,
Still
I
on you.
get and get sued. I'm getting sued,
Yeah.
not the salon. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's best, like you said, you have insurance that covers you.
Yes. Yes.
So
And I think
that
that's
I
very important. It's very inexpensive. It's important for technicians to cover yourself. Another legal way around all that, which we don't have to keep going into this, is I could do kind of what you're doing. I could turn my house into my little, you can get approval for like your nail shop out of your home. And I,
mhm,
as an entity of that, could work out of mobile. The California law says as long as somebody's unable to get themselves to a salon, it's legal for me to go and treat them. Well, the
mhm.
age of COVID, anybody can say, I don't want to go to a salon because I don't want to risk getting sick. I have asthma, I have diabetes, I have whatever. Anybody can fall into the category of unable to get to a
So
salon.
to a
So
salon.
yeah, it's sort of easy at this point. I mean, it's not really a challenge, but I haven't done that yet. I could, but I just haven't done it yet, and I don't know what I'll do about that. But something I'm kind of exploring still.
Gotcha. Well, just to recap on that, basically, just you have to have the idea of that you would like to be a mobile nail technician. Of
Yeah.
course, if your license ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just if you want to, my thing is if you want to worry yourself with business licensing and LLCs and everything because you have a broader picture, do you, girl? But in the
Absolutely.
meantime, between as long as you got a license and you're a
Yeah.
licensed professional, go for the gold.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
for the gold. So let's
Yeah.
move on from that.
True.
Supplies. And well, hold on, before I get there. You say
Hmm.
you do just hard gel. Do you do pedicures
Yes.
still? You do pedic. Are they waterless or do you have a
No,
bowl?
I have a bowl. I do the whole thing.
Okay, so what are all the services that you currently offer?
So I offer manicure, pedicure.
Mm-hmm.
I only offer one style of manicure, one style of pedicure, and then I go into my enhancements, which are either builder in a bottle or gel or hard gel. The only add-ons you can do to any service is adding gel polish because it doesn't necessarily come standard as an add-on. Builder in a bottle comes in colors. I don't know if you're familiar with the product, but it comes in a series
No,
of colors.
I'm not. I wrote that down. What you gotta tell me what
Yeah,
builder in the box.
I love talking about it. It's phenomenal. So just imagine a gel polish that comes in, like, most of the time it's a neutral. So imagine like your neutral, your soft pinks. It's like a gel polish. It's got a little bit of a thicker viscosity, but it comes in a bottle like a gel polish, and it's applied in like a kind of walk it down the nail sort of way, and it self levels. It's runny. So one of the techniques is to flip it over and let gravity get your apex in the right spot, flip it back over, check it, and cure it. And it'll stay there exactly in shape. This is builder in a bottle. These are my natural nails. Sorry, I'm getting on off camera.
No.
Natural
Oh, wow.
flawlessly for probably more than a year. And I do it myself, so excuse my shaping. It's not ideal. My clients' hands look
No.
significantly better than mine, but I'm doing my own nails here. But it goes on like gel polish. It's a little thicker. You can make it as thin or as thick as you want. It's softer. So I'll give you another example of one of the perks of this product. And excuse again, these are a couple weeks old. You can see there's flex.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it clearly. Regardless,
I
I'll explain
I
it.
definitely I see it great. I see it well enough. Yeah. Okay.
So the idea is there is acrylic, which is what I would call a brittle product. It cures so hard that it's brittle like plastic. Now, if you bang acrylic, if you snap it, because of the way it's attached, you might get a crack or a break up high here where your nail actually bleeds and your natural nail breaks along with it because of the attachment. This product being a little softer and a little more flexible, if you bang this, your nail and everything is going to move with it. It's just got a little bit more flexibility to it. So they call it flex gel. They call it builder in a bottle or builder gel. So it's got a little flex to it.
Your nail breaks, does that hurt?
Not really. And they don't break. I've never had one break. I've had them bend, and then eventually you might be like, oh, when it bent, there's a little crack here, but it's not like, you don't get snaps, you don't get breaks. It doesn't snap like that. It bends so much that your whole natural nail underneath is bending with it. And that gives a little bit of forgiveness when you do like kind of catch it in a door or whatever you're doing. With acrylic, you get that snap and stuff breaks and it can hurt really bad. With this, you don't get that snap. You get a little bend and you
didn't know what happened. I feel like one of my clients like, girl, I don't even know what happened. I really don't know where the fuck. Like, damn.
It's ideal for short to medium length nails. So again, this is one of the answers to the dip product, is that if you really are just that woman who is not interested in a length, you just want your nails to look manicured, polished, shaped up, and perfect for the time that you are between services. Beautiful product for that. I can put this product on my clients, and another beautiful thing about it is it doesn't lift. There's no lifting. There's no hairs catching. There's no nothing. And I did zero prep to the nail. I don't buff off the natural shine. I don't use a primer. I don't use a base coat. There's literally nothing but cleaning and making sure the cuticle is trimmed back, which I do kind of the Russian manicure style, where you use the little drill bits and you really get that cuticle off the nail plate. Once that's done, you're golden. You have no lifting. So between services, because you can also place it very, very far back in the cuticle, you get about a week and a half to 2 weeks more outgrow before needing a fill. Whereas acrylic, you cannot get close to that cuticle or else you're going to lift. You have to keep that little hairline space. That's a difference in this product. So one of the selling points of this is you can wear this for about a month. Most people go 3 weeks to 4 weeks without a fill. And they don't have, I mean, the outgrow is about the same as a 2-week acrylic fill.
Okay. Interesting. So do you do any, with all the services that you do offer, do you do any bundle services like parties or, and how would you do that if it's just you?
I don't do any discounts ever. I don't ever do a coupon. I don't ever do like, let me take $5. The only exception to that is if you book a mani-pedi together, and this is just a manicure pedicure. If you get nail enhancements, deals off. But if you do a manicure pedicure together, there's the $10 discount. So it goes from 70 to 60.
Okay.
But my
is like I don't do no discount ever.
No. And the reason for that is because I guarantee my work for 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, if you have a problem, I will literally haul my ass and all my shit to your house. I'll unpack it and I'll fix you up. So my guarantee to me means you're also guaranteeing me that money. There will be no talk about refunds, nothing. None of that's happening. And I also am not coming to your house to do a polish change. That's not happening either.
Okay, because I was just about to I was going to get into that. Before I get into that, when there's multiple people, like say it's mom, daughter, aunt, it's girls' night. Do you do those type of parties and stuff like that? You do?
Frequently.
I didn't make sure I heard it. And you do it by yourself?
I do it by myself, and it's a long day. But as long as my clients know it's going to be a long day, they're usually okay with it. Some of the times starting out, it was a little bit of a surprise to both of us. I didn't realize, like, I would kind of budget myself less time than I needed. Let me say that. But then I'd get there and somebody be like, can you do some artwork? Can you add some rhinestones? And then this person over here is bumping their toe and, oh, I think I did something. Let me look, So then it's delaying. And so I've been at houses before where it was like 7 hours, like in the beginning for 2 girls. They wanted full mani-pedi with the nail tips and the builder gel, and they wanted polish on top, and they wanted crystals, and it was like 7 hours of work. And it was very slow. I was slower because it was way back in the beginning. From then on, I was like, I need to pre-warn people. And so what happened is there are groups, like you're saying, like auntie and grandma and all of that. They would all get together. I would start kind of early in the day and just go through them. They'd be hanging out at home like nothing. They didn't care because they were just chilling at home anyway. They didn't have anywhere to go. And they would just be playing board games. They'd be getting food. They'd be drinking wine. They'd be hanging out. We'd all be talking, and I'm doing somebody's service over here. And then they just kind of, somebody would do their pedicure, they'd go eat, and somebody else would do their nails, you know? So I would get through them all that way.
Okay, so when you set up, do you set up in a particular spot with your own like table and your setup, or are they having you maneuver around their football game?
No, most of the time, you know, especially after they've kind of gotten used to the process, we have like a chair in their living room and I set up there, or, you know, in one case we work outside most of the year. I think one time in the year and a half I've been doing their nails, we went inside and it was real cold and started to get kind of stormy outside. So we went inside, but every other service I've done, I'll be there 8, 10, 12 hours sometimes doing their nails because it's a whole group of them. We've done outside and they just kind of have an overhanging area. They got a bunch of outdoor furniture and they just sit around and chit chat, and they come and go from their house and hang out and whatever. It's just sort of casual and laid back, and that's how it works. But I set up, I park myself, I open my table, I get my tub going, and then I just rotate people into my chair. They sit there and I just keep rotating them in and out.
Yeah, I just thinking about it, like the last person that I was doing a mobile service for was for one of my elder clients. She had ended up losing her sight completely.
Oh, wow.
So instead of having her family bring her here to get her nails done, you know, I went to her house and I would do her nails, and then of course her husband would get pedicures. This was when I was still doing pedicures. Bro, if it was not for the Vietnamese training, because the Vietnamese trained me to do a full set standing up. So I've learned to maneuver in so many different ways. But I'm just like, if I didn't have that, I want to, they'd have to look, and Julia, you got to sit here and be in a particular spot. And I wonder, when it comes down to being mobile, like, you know, everybody does things differently. There's more supplies that weren't particularly geared at us. Like I see now that you actually have carrying cases for the polishes and stuff like that, and they're like tiered. And I'm just like, you know what? We was buying caboodles and trying to put them like and keep our little boxes, keep them safe, you know, only take a little bit at a time or whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, just thinking about, has it gotten easier for the nail techs who are going mobily?
I don't think it's necessarily gotten easier. I have definitely refined my process. So for the average mobile tech jumping out there, there's probably, like you're saying, those carrying cases for polish that do make it easier. But at the same time, I have several of those carrying cases, and they were great for one brand of my polish. When I switched to the other brand, they didn't fit very well. It was like foam zones. I don't know how to say that, but you know, foam little compartments
don't fit.
They don't
you
fit.
Just, yeah. I'm like, what fucking brand did y'all model this behind?
It's saying it can hold 34, and you're like, nah, not this brand. This brand's bottle is bigger. It's not holding 34 of this. So then you're buying, and they were like $30 a piece, my little cases. I was buying like 3. I think I have 4 of them now, and I was just adding them to my Amazon wish list. Like, I need more of these because, you know, you end up carrying a lot of stuff. But at this point, I'll give a brief description of my setup and process, and it'll kind of help people envision, you know, how I've refined it. But I'll go back to the beginning quickly. I was in a Rubbermaid box, like just to pick up the lid, and all my stuff was there, and I'd set it on the table.
it was not about that. Yeah. I had a caboodle with all of my implements and my polish and monomer and all the, you know, center stuff, the desktop stuff. And then I'd have a separate bag that had the pedicure tub, the gel lamp, you know, and still left the top coat.
Yep.
I just don't have everything, but
yeah. It's a lot. It's hard, but one of the things that the carrying cases that I have now provide is that organization. It's real easy. But I tend to be kind of naturally more organized. So I can see how it can get hairy for people, and especially if you're switching from a studio to mobile, and if you're mixing the same materials, that's a hard no. I would say if you're going to do mobile, you need a setup that's just for mobile, and you need a constant running list of stuff. Like, I've even been in the middle of a service and asked my client, will you quickly text me paper towels, alcohol wipes, and lotion. And I said, just to put those things in a text and text it to me. And I said, I won't open and I don't open the text till I get home so that I remember I grab those things before my next service because I'm out and I need them. So it's kind of things like that, little things that I'm like, okay, it's very important that you don't forget stuff. You know, I've never really been somewhere without something essential. Like you said, you showed up somewhere without your drill bits and you were like, well, I guess we're doing hand filing today. It's tough, but you worked it out. Most of the time there's like another way to do something. And so I've had that issue before, but going back to the setup, like I said, I started in a Rubbermaid case with just a lid, just a box and a lid. And I would pull out my stuff onto somebody's table. Like say we were at their dining room table, they'd be sitting at the corner, I'd sitting at the other corner. Angle was all wrong and all awkward. And it kind of morphed from that. I bought a table was no good. Ended up, okay, that's not going to work. And then my husband found actually, he's real good at like, he'll kind of keep picking at Amazon links until he finds just the right thing. There is the kidney bean shaped table that legs fold up under and it has a carrying case. It's out there. It exists.
Yes. So I saw that and I immediately got pissed because that was not available. I never saw that way back when I first started working for myself and doing mobile, it was going to be a microwave tray and I knew my client was going to have it. Because and the folding tables in Walmart, they were a standard size. And now they have a smaller size that is just about the size of our fucking desk. And I was like, you don't say that is easier to carry, folded up, carrying and got a little handle on it. So it's definitely, as far as being able to set up, it's still a lot taking your stuff everywhere.
Yes.
That's always going to be the challenge is, getting your everything, making sure you remember stuff. But as far as being able to set up a table, a legit table, and, make your setup a little bit more, nail station, you know what I mean? Because hell, at some point our comfort matters. We're giving them the comfort of being, saying in their own home, getting services and stuff. So I just always think about nail tech, like, girl, our backs, your neck, your wrists, your arms, you have to think about these things as well. We want to get this money, we want to get paid, but we want longevity as well. So I'm glad that a lot more things have come out, saying that are helpful to nail techs who want to get into that part, girl, because it was a struggle.
It still is to some degree, but I would say that's another major priority. If you're going to set up to be mobile, you cannot skimp on your own comfort because of the amount of just lugging equipment and stuff around that I do. I mean, I actually am pretty impressed that my back hasn't gone out, that for a while in the beginning, one of my first seats was this wooden box I bought at the flea market covered in fabric and like foam. So it was like an ottoman that you would have in front of your chair. You just pop your feet up and it's got a little cushion on top. I was using that as my seat for pedicures because it was down low enough. My clients could pull their feet over to me and that was pretty comfortable. Well, then I would just scoot that seat over to the table and I'd be like this working on nails. And pretty soon my neck and shoulders were just feeling the fire of all that tension. So one day I got home and I had been pretty busy and I looked at my husband. I said, I need you to find me a chair. I said, it has to go down low enough where I can do pedicures, but also be able to raise up for my nails. And he was like, okay, again, boom, boom, boom on Amazon. And he sent me the saddle chair. I don't know if you've heard of saddle chairs, but saddle chairs are commonly used for tattoo artists. They look a little funny and there's a raised up part that goes between your legs. And so you kind of have to get used to the fact that your little lady bits are sitting right on a raised, like a saddle. It's a raised cushion. You have to get used to it. It took me a little bit. It took me a little bit, but we got there. And it was worth it because the way that it ergonomically positions your back, shoulders, and neck. Never again. I don't have aches and pains at all, period. My hips are the only thing that sometimes get a little tired, but that has to do with me. I have this habit of like kicking my heel up and putting my right foot up on my pinky toes. Or sorry, not my pinky toes. Like almost like a ballerina. Like I kick so then my calf gets a little sore, my hips get a little sore. But it's not to do with it. Seating is pretty awesome that I have. And then the table that I have was also at the perfect height. It's got the kidney bean cut out so I can scoot up. My clients have a little wrist rest. And like I said, that thing comes in a case. So I just grab the handles and I haul that thing in cased up and everything. And actually what I usually do is it sits on top of my chair and I roll the table and the chair together. And then I pull my little rolling cart with all my equipment behind me. So in one shot, I literally can get everything in and out of the house in one shot. I have it down like that. So I'm not carrying, I don't have bags on my shoulders. I have nothing else. My pedicure tub, I bought the Noel Asmar. I think that's how you say it, Noel Asmar. You'll see them advertised here and there on Facebook, and I'm happy to send links if anybody wants to look into that. But it's a plastic resin bowl, good size. It's got some nubs on the bottom, so it feels very comfortable for your feet. And there are round liners that you can buy in bulk on Amazon for about $30. I think it comes with 200 liners. So the liner just makes it boom, no problem. I put the liner on, get hot water, use a little of the bath salts in the water. And then when somebody's done, you dump the water, throw the liner away, and then you reline and go to the next client. There's no, I mean, all I have to do is drop it out.
I think that's dope. Of course, stuff we didn't have because I was putting the liner in an old regular petty tub, that we got from Walmart. But I got the petty liners, putting it in there.
Yeah.
It's bubbling up.
Always that air on the sides.
Yeah. The other
thing that's great about the Noel Asmar one is that you can purchase a pretty heavy duty case for it. So the case has a shoulder strap. I don't usually carry it that way because it rests on top of my rolling cart and it comes in again all in one shot. But the case is awesome. And the top part of the case is a really nice pouch. You can stuff it full of liners. So you never run out of liners. Well, then that leaves the actual tub empty. I pack my towels into the tub. So I don't have to have a bunch of stuff. My towels sit inside the tub. Liners are in the case. Zip it up. It sits right on top of my stuff, and I wheel right into the house. So it's very efficient.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
With all that, because we are definitely going in here. With all that you do and packing up and everything like that, let's quickly get into your pricing. Like,
yeah,
is there a separate traveling fee? How much is your traveling fee? Or is it just a whole thing? No,
all in one. It's all in one. And my motivation behind that, one of the things that I'm kind of passionate about, just as a side note, is I watched that show. I don't know if you've heard of it, called The Prophet with Marcus Lemonis. Anyway, he's a
I think I have. Is that the one where he was in the jail and he somehow ended up in a whole nother country, like in the blink of an eye, and they're trying to figure out? Oh, is on Netflix?
No. This is a MSNBC show regarding finance and business.
I'm all off. Okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about Jesus.
No, he's anyway, I won't go too much into him, but one of the things that he does a lot is he steps into businesses that are maybe like really lucrative or have a great deal of potential, but the way they're operating isn't living up to their full potential. And he'll really refine and make things efficient, and he'll cut things way down, and he'll say, why do you have that on the menu if you're only selling 5% a month? Cut that off the menu. Nobody wants that. Go with these meat and potato things that are really bringing you income. So I applied that methodology to my menu. And I said, I'm not showing up at somebody's house to do a mini version of any service. My services are excellent, high quality, very high quality products where they last for a great long time. So they're going to pay each and every time. Now, my part of the responsibility is that I have used high-end products that do last a long time. Their part of it is, I'm only going to come out here once a month and you're going to pay the full price for each service. So we're not going to be doing like, oh, hey, I want a polish change, or hey, I'm going to this event. Could I get this done? You sure can, but you're going to be paying exactly what this service is. There's no cut down or paring down. So I do one style of manicure, one style of pedicure, and then my nail enhancement services are very standard. You can go on top of the natural nail. You can add an extension. You could use builder in the bottle, or you can use hard gel. That's it. The only two add-ons I have, gel polish and paraffin. I use the Perfect Sense paraffin, which is a chamber that's activated. It's like pre-shaped booties and mittens for paraffin. And there's a chamber that warms it up and melts it. And you just put your hands in the thing and glove up, and you got paraffin. It's a really nice product. But Those are the only two add-ons. I don't add on travel fees, nothing extra with service, nothing extra with anything else. I mean, you
What
can
about
always.
your policies? Like that is something. I said, what about your policies? Now that is something I want to ask you. Like, if you're in the shop, you can charge. There's late fees.
Yeah.
How you don't you wouldn't have that issue unless you're the one being late. Do you have any policies, or how does your boundaries work? Because that's all policies are, boundaries.
They really are, and they're absolutely essential. And I think that they're way more essential for somebody who has a suite or a studio. Now, for me, because I'm going to your house, once you give me your address, if you haven't canceled, I'm showing up at your house, and that's going to be kind of awkward. If I show up all the way there and you're not ready for me, that's going to be a little embarrassing on your part. Now, I've had people cancel last minute, and I give a lot of grace for that. It doesn't happen very often, but I've had people do that, and I just say, you know what, it's okay. The reason I make that okay is because I have 2 small kids, and my husband is in healthcare. He does a corporate level job, but there are times where an emergency will happen and he'll have to immediately leave. If that happens, I also have to cancel on my clients. We're the only 2 caretakers for our kids. We don't have sitters that can step in last minute or grandparents or anything. So because I require that grace from them, I also give them that same grace. Life happens. And these clients that I have, I see regularly, month after month after month. If something happens, I know it really was like, shoot, I can't avoid this. Something happened and I can't be at the service. It's okay. I give a lot of grace for that. But again, me not having to show up at their house, I'm not putting out any money. Maybe I'm not booking that time with another client that I could be getting that income from, but I didn't drive to their house. So I didn't spend any money there. I didn't set up. I didn't, it's a little bit different. And it's very, very, very rare that somebody doesn't follow through on the appointment I made. And part of that is because I'm coming to their house. There's not a whole lot of reason to not just be at home.
And really no wiggle room there unless you call and say something.
Yeah. So most of the time, I mean, it's happened before, but even when it happens, I'm just kind of like, oh, well, okay. Guess what? I'm going to go home and spend that time with my kids instead. That's okay. It's okay.
That's where I'm at in life. Like, girl, all right, cool. But I have a cancellation fee. Do you have a cancellation fee?
No, I don't charge any fees. And like I said, part of that methodology had to do with just paring down my menu so that it was very clear and concise. These are the services. There's no hidden nothing. There's no front. No, I don't collect money till the end. I don't do deposits. I don't do any of that. And I'm not saying that that's a method that would work for everybody else because of what you do, like where you're paying rent in a studio, no matter what, whether that person sits in your chair or not, you're paying essentially for that person to come. That's costing you money. If they don't show up to their service, you still have to pay that money for somebody to not be in your chair. For me, on my end, if they decide to cancel, I don't spend anything. It just means that my time was recaptured for me to spend with my family. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel any type of way about having their structure and their standards. It's very common when you have a client showing up to you for them to cancel or bail out or not show up. So that's an issue, and that requires a policy there. When I'm going to their house, it's very rare that people don't come through on their appointments. Yeah. And if it happens, it's usually because something kind of serious happened. They fell ill, their dog got sick, they had to run to the airport to pick somebody up unexpected, but they usually book with me pretty quick after that. And it's okay. For me, it's fine. I don't have a lot of flaky clients, in other words.
Let me ask you this, and then we're going to wrap up. With COVID, I don't know where you stand on it. It's just for those who may inquire because, it's a separated issue and it's really crazy. But either way it goes, do you require masks for them to have on a mask? Do they ask you to have on a mask or vaccine? How is it going?
I have people all over the spectrum because it is a very polarizing issue. My life is my children are under the age of being able to be vaccinated. So in effort to protect them, my husband and myself are fully vaccinated and were as soon as we could be. I mask up, especially for my clients who I have never met, don't know them, don't know their lifestyle, or don't know their habits. I do have clients where it's a lot more lax. I know for sure they're all vaccinated. I know for sure that they don't go anywhere. That's one of the reasons I come to them is because they just chill at home. They get their groceries delivered. They're not doing parties. They're not doing anything. So for those clients,
Okay.
there's a little more lax with me wearing a mask because we're all vaccinated. There are clients where maybe they'll tell me they're vaccinated. I don't know what they're doing with their life. So you know what? Until I know you, I'm keeping my mask on. And I don't care what they do. They can wear their mask or they can avoid it. They're in their home. I will protect myself and I will protect them because I don't know what somebody's habits are. Now there's stuff that I talked about this with my sister yesterday. I said I have a lot of Black clients, and I was like, a lot of them don't want to get vaccinated. And I said it's not my business. There's a big disparity in Black healthcare, and I was like, for them to feel comfortable getting a vaccine might take them a little bit longer. That's not my business. If they don't want to get vaccinated, I have no judgment for that. It's not just them. There's lots of people for lots of different reasons. But
Reasons
my
that don't get vaccinated.
yeah, it's their business how they want to handle that, and I don't have judgment for that. But because I don't know if I can pass something to them, I make sure to protect them. I show up with my mask on and I'm fully vaccinated. That matters to me. The last thing I want to do is show up in someone's house and leave them with a virus. That would be horrible. Same thing with my
Yes.
elderly. I don't care. They're vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. I'm still wearing a mask. And if I have the sniffles, I'm not showing up. Call them up real quick and say, I'm not coming. I'm sick. I don't want to expose your elderly mother to anything. It's not worth it. So that's how I function. I'm very thoughtful about everybody. I want to be considerate of everybody, and what they do is not my business. I don't try and get into. And I feel like
that's the whole thing. If you're not going to protect the others, protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's what I understand why it's a divided thing. All right. If you ain't gonna save others, save yourself.
Yeah. And I don't mean to keep avoiding, by the way, the question of how much I charge. I just keep getting chatty and then I forget. So if you want to know, my pedicures are $40, $10 for gel. So usually my pedicures are $50. Now
Okay.
I buy the Wish Pedi in a box because that also makes life easy for transport. And it gives everybody. Have you heard of that product, by the way? Should I briefly describe it?
Yes, please briefly describe.
The Voesh Pedi in a box, I think you can buy multiple versions of it, but the one I use is a 4-step. It's the first pouch is the salt that goes in the water. Second pouch is the sugar scrub. Third pouch is a mud mask. And the fourth is the lotion for the massage. It comes in this cute little box, and there's a multitude of different scents. So I can provide my clients like a handful of them and say, hey, which scent would you like today? It's cucumber, there's charcoal, watermelon, mango, lavender, whatever. And the clients kind of get excited about that part. And then that scent runs through their whole pedicure. So it also makes it easy for mobile because it's a little contained system. I don't have a container with a lid that might leak or spill of mud mask, sugar scrub, salt. None of that stuff comes with me. It's just a little box and everything stays contained until I open the package. So that's my standard pedicure. It's sugar scrub, mud mask, lotion for the massage, water, all of the stuff. And then the only difference is if you choose gel polish or regular polish. So it's either $40 or $50. And then for my builder and a gel, the first set is $45. The fills are $35. And again, any of those you can add a $10 polish to, gel polish to, or you can add $15 for the paraffin wax. That's really the only variety that goes into that. So.
Okay. Well, thank you. Before I get into wrapping us up and everything, I do want to tell you thank you so much for coming on and talking and sharing all of the behind the scenes with you on how it is with being a mobile nail technician. You're so gorgeous. I just want you to know you have this glow going on, and I'm just loving it. That's just so pretty.
You're so sweet.
So before we go, overall, what advice would you have for another nail tech that would like to be a mobile nail tech?
I think it would be to connect with somebody like myself or like you who's had experience doing it and to try and get some little tips and tricks. The more research you do behind the scenes, you won't have to kind of go through what I went through, which was, let me buy that and try that. And let me try that. And that didn't work. There's a little bit of a cushion in my life because my husband works to pay our bills. What I do is our money for vacations and put my kids in sports and getting them nice shoes. So I had that little bit of a wiggle room to be able to buy that table and try it out. Now, somebody who's starting out, who needs that income, this is going to be a big venture if you don't do it right the first time, especially. The stuff that I have gotten down is not cheap stuff. I won't even lie about it. The stuff that I have paid for to be a part of my services is high-end, expensive things. They're not terribly expensive, but when you have to do it all at once, it's probably a $1,500 setup or something like that. It's not a cheap investment.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing to do would be to definitely have your proper items first. Don't do what I did, which is I tried this, then I bought that, and then I had to try this. It's not how I work in almost any other area of my life. I like to buy things one time because I'm not a big spender. I like to just get the right thing the first time. But it was a process of refining it down. Getting
it
somebody
is
to
trial and error.
yeah. Like learn from me so that you don't have to make the same mistakes and it doesn't cost you as much. But also there are very specific areas where I sought out my clients and it changed entirely the I don't want to say it the right way. It changed entirely the nature of the clients that I had. And as you can imagine, being any nail shop, say you open on a street corner, where you open, location is very important to the clientele that's going to be coming in your door. Same thing with where I advertised. I did not put myself on Craigslist because I knew you're going to get probably some good people and great clients, and then you're going to get whatever crazy person wants you to show up at their house and act nuts with you. So that was not something I did. I put myself on some apps that I knew were particularly for homeowners, that kind of thing, so that people were a little bit more responsible and a little bit more serious about what I did before I would show up at their house. That's another element. It's a safety element. It's just a common sense element. But don't sell yourself short. Don't spread yourself so thin in your desperation to just get clients. If you're going to do mobile, you need to build it slow and steady and do it the right way. And it'll really work for you in a really great way. It works wonderfully for my life.
It's definitely doing great for you. I really appreciate you, like I said once again, sharing with us on TikTok about being a
Yes,
mobile nail. I mean,
my
not
pleasure.
being one primarily. So hearing how you go about your pricing, your policies, and saying just how you go about it. I really appreciate you coming and talking about it.
I appreciate you. This was really fun for me. I love talking about it. I'm passionate about it, obviously. So I'm happy to be a resource for anybody. I don't know if they need contact info or whatever. Or if you just want to, you can refer
I
people to me, whatever you want.
listed in the comment section everywhere I'm going to put it. But just for the audio content, tell everybody where they can follow you at and how to get in touch with you.
Yes, I'm at the Bar Nail Salon. It's 2 R's. My last name is Barragan. And so we have 2 R's in our last name. But my Instagram page is Bar Nail Salon. It's just BARR Nail Salon. And so you can follow me there, send me a message, whatever you want to do, and I'll happily, coach you through or answer any questions. It's my pleasure to provide information that makes people's, journey more successful. I mean, I wish I had somebody who could have mentored me, and I would happily do that for anybody.
Same, absolute same. So you heard it. She said, hit her up. She got you. She will help you out just as well as I help you out. Y'all know if I don't know the answer, I'm going to point you to where you can get it from. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining me today. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday and get that pancake breakfast going because I kept you a little bit longer than we were supposed to. But they did great. You make sure they get a tall stack of pancakes.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Whew.